everyone, and welcome to Dallas Hoops Fancast. I'm your host, Sydney, and I'm here with my co-host, Martin.
What's up?
Thank you for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at @Sydney Myers. You can follow the show at Dallas Hoops Cast. The website is DallasHoopsCast.com. Now,
I quit Twitter.
Martin quit Twitter. Okay, this is pretty special. DallasHoopsCast.com was named a top 10 Dallas Mavericks blog by Feedspot.com. Now, two things about that. I don't know if there are actually more than 10 total Dallas Mavericks blogs.
Doesn't matter.
And I also don't know who Feedspot.com is.
Doesn't matter. We were in the top 10.
But we made the list. And actually, their list had 11.
We should frame it.
Yeah, so anyway.
So we were number 10 out of 11?
No, we were actually number 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
we were number 4, yeah. So if you want to read a top 10 Dallas Mavericks blog among the 11 total blogs, is DallasHoopsCast.com. You can listen to new episodes, but we do also post exclusive articles. I'm working on one right now, answering the question of whether or not the Mavericks should be concerned about Kristaps Porzingis' injury history. He tore his meniscus, not a major injury, but it's another one. And so I talked to a physical therapist to get his thoughts. He covers a lot of sports injuries too, so to get his thoughts on is this a problem? Are these injuries related? What should the Mavericks do going forward? That'll be published pretty soon. But there's other articles that you can read as well. In this episode, I want to go back and look at some of the predictions that we made for the season. We did an episode where we talked about 5 things that must happen in order for the Mavericks to make the playoffs. And our comments kind of included things about other teams that made the playoffs. So now that they've been eliminated, we can kind of talk about those predictions as a whole. So we'll get started with that. And I'll start with the first thing that I said needed to happen in order for the Mavs to make the playoffs. Some of these things we were actually pretty super on base, and some of them we were just way off and stupid. But anyways, the first one, I said that Kristaps needs to average at least 20 points per game on 44% shooting if they were going to make the playoffs. We know that they did make the playoffs, and Kristaps finished the season averaging 20.4 points per game.
Right on the nose.
Right?
What about his field goal percentage?
Field goal percentage was 42.7, almost 43. So
really, really close.
Kind of close. Yeah, I think I did a good job with that. In fact, before the season started, I predicted his stats overall. If you remember that article, I went through every player that's torn his ACL and what did he do this season he came back. And then I used that to kind of make predictions for Porzingis. So I predicted he would average 19 points, 9 rebounds, 1.5 blocks per game, 42% shooting, and 35% from 3. So 19 points, he finished the season averaging 20.4. 9 rebounds, he averaged 9.5. 1.5 blocks per game, he averaged 2. 42% shooting, he shot 43% overall. And 35% from 3, that's actually what he shot overall. I don't say that to make myself look super smart. I mean, because obviously I don't need to say things to make myself look super smart because we already know.
Can we get back to the list?
But the point was just how interesting using that data, I was able to be super accurate.
Is this another promo for Dallas Hoops Cast?
Yeah, it's DallasHoopsCast.com is where that article is published. And so that was the first prediction we made. And then we talked about whether or not they had a third 20-point scorer. Do you remember, if you were to go back, what would you have predicted? Do they have a third guy that can be the true third guy and average 20 points or more?
I would say that confidently we said no because based on their roster, they didn't have that person.
Yeah, we said no, and that was correct. They didn't have a third guy that averaged 20 or more.
I think it was Tim Hardaway. Was he 16 for the season?
15.8.
Yeah, but the first 20 games first 15 games or something didn't really count because he came off the bench. When he was a starter, he averaged, I think, over 17 a game.
I'll have to look at the splits, yeah. You made a prediction. You said that in order for them to make the playoffs, Luka and KP need to combine for 50-plus points.
Yeah.
And their season averages combined was 49.2.
Not bad.
Not bad. Very good prediction. And then you also predicted that their third guy would actually be a combination of Seth, JJ, and Hardaway. You were super high on JJ before the season started. And I got to tell you, you were totally wrong.
Well, I didn't realize how much older.
How old he
yeah,
was.
he had gotten. When you watch him in the season, he just couldn't create any separation, didn't have any lift.
Yeah.
He couldn't do those miraculous layups because, in order for him to make those crazy layups in the past, he had to float in the air just long enough. He couldn't do that anymore, so he was just kind of throwing him up there, and it was kind of getting cringy.
Well, and a lot of his game is like, shiftiness and hesitations and, cutting back, and he just couldn't do that.
Just didn't have that burst.
Yeah, like you said, getting the separation, like that just didn't happen. So that was the one thing I said. KP needs to average 20. You said they need to combine for 50. Both of those things happened, so it makes sense that they made the playoffs. The second thing that I said needs to happen is I said either KP needs to average 20 or either Brunson, Curry, or Hardaway needs to average at least 15 points on 46 to 47% shooting, preferably 40% on threes. And what ended up happening is Hardaway, who's one of the three guys I said, he ended up averaging 15.8 points on 43.4% shooting and 39, so almost 40%
Basically,
on threes. So again, I'm a genius. I mean,
DallasHoopscast.com.
that's DallasHoopscast.com. We talked a lot about Hardaway coming off the bench. I think we assumed that he would do that. I don't know why, because now looking at the season, it's like, why did we ever think that?
Well, to be fair, when you look at the beginning of the regular season, that was a year ago.
Yeah,
so it
true.
seems like it was 2 seasons ago.
One thing we didn't predict was coronavirus.
Yes. And we just didn't know where Hardaway fit. And actually, he did really, really well when he was put in the starting lineup. He had a great year.
He did.
I really liked Hardaway and what he did this season.
Yeah.
So it was a nice surprise.
At this point, while we were making these predictions, we were still, we didn't like Dorian Finney-Smith. We were trashing him hard on this episode. And I think it must have been after that when I did that article where I really dug into Dorian's.
It was, yeah.
Okay, and so since then, Dorian is like my favorite player. Obviously, I love Luka and KP, but just, if I had to pick like a logical, I really like this guy, Dorian would be one of my favorite players. So if you listen to that and you hear us trashing him, we've changed our ways and we've seen the light. We've come to Jesus. The third thing... We've come to Dorian. Okay. The third thing that I said needs to happen is DeLon Wright needs to be the defender everyone says he is. And my note while preparing for this was LOL. Because nothing happened with DeLon. Like, he didn't become anything that anybody thought of anything.
It's such a PR move that the Mavericks did when they didn't sign anybody but signed DeLon. And they were like, look, guys, this guy's going to surprise you.
Yeah.
It was all PR. It was 100%
Well, they got to make sure,
PR.
Obviously they're not going to say, like, yeah, he sucks, but whatever. I mean, I get it.
And he showed in some games he was, like, really good. And he was really good on defense and would get a lot of steals. Mm-hmm. And then for about 95% of the season, it was like, dude, what are you doing out there?
Yeah, he had some just, like, brain
what were
dead
you doing?
moments.
Yes.
And he had... I also think he struggled with his aggressiveness. It was like if he was on the court where he was kind of the best player or one of the best players and he was kind of running things, I think he played really well and was aggressive and, not a great player, but, for the most part played well. But when he played with guys that were better than him, like Luka, or literally just that would be anybody else on the team, he really struggled with being aggressive and picking his spots and knowing what to do. Sometimes it was
kind
like
of stood there,
or he would just get the ball and like dribble around, and it's like
dude,
what
attack,
are you doing?
attack the basket. He's really crafty finisher. But anyways, we don't want to do too much DeLon talk.
Oh, why not?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, so that didn't happen. But so far, two of the things that we said would need to happen did, which, that's probably why they made the playoffs. I said that DeLon would need to be that defender because the Mavs won't be able to get away with subpar defense. Turns out they can. So
because their offense was so good.
Yeah. The fourth thing that I said I think they're gonna...
Was I a part of this original podcast?
You were.
Okay.
But I just made my list and then you just like chimed in at different points.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like you do normally. Okay, I said that they're going to be competing with these 5 teams for a playoff spot: the Kings, the Thunder, the Spurs, the Timberwolves, and the Warriors. And I said that if they're going to make the playoffs, they need to win those season series. So it turns out they were actually better than all of those teams.
Except the Thunder.
Yeah, except for the Thunder. But so against the Kings, they went 3-1. Against the Thunder, they were 1-1. Spurs 3-1. Timberwolves 3-0. Warriors 3-0. So I mean, technically, that point proved true, but it's because they were just so much better.
Yeah,
than those teams.
one thing that helped is the Spurs really dropped off.
Yeah.
And the Warriors, obviously, when Curry went out, there was just no point on living. And the Timberwolves, ever since they traded Jimmy Butler, they're a bunch of cupcakes out there. They don't know what to do. They traded Wiggins. Harsh. Yeah, it was.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You said, I think I couldn't find it in this episode.
I was in this.
Oh, you weren't done yet?
No. You said I said something in this podcast.
Yeah, you did. You
said
something.
What it was.
Well, I thought you said something. It must have been another episode. But you said in some episode that the Spurs were not going to make the playoffs. And you were right about that.
That was early on, yeah.
Yeah.
Before the season even started, I think I mentioned that because I just didn't think they were going to continue the streak. I thought LaMarcus Aldridge really just dropped off the face of the earth once he went to San Antonio.
I know, geez.
DeMar DeRozan will not shoot a 3, and Popovich does not force him to shoot 3s, which I do not understand.
Well, because he's not good at it.
I don't care. Make him. I mean, the thing is, his form is perfect. It's a confidence thing. So just make him shoot 1,000 of them, and he'll start shooting them more often.
Yeah, it's too many 2s, and I know you don't want to go in the whole other direction where all you shoot is 3s, but you got to shoot some.
I think that was my point why I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs, because the way the league was going, it was all 3s, and they would refuse to shoot them.
Well, they can't keep up.
Yeah.
You also implied, I think, that you didn't think the Thunder would make the playoffs. You were obviously way off on that. My genius didn't rub off on you.
No, it did not.
With that. Because obviously the Thunder made the playoffs. But the Mavs still went 1-1 against them. So, okay. The 5th thing that I said needs to happen is Luka magic. And, dude.
I think we were even with the expectations that we had, he far outplayed them.
Yeah. I mean, just
29-9-9.
Yeah. I mean, and in some of the moments, obviously in the playoffs, the step back game winning buzzer beater thing against the Clippers. I mean, that, but towards the end of the season, the game against the Bucks. I mean, just.
Oh, he had some masterpieces. I think it was the month of November. He averaged a 30-point triple-double.
Yeah.
He had some masterpieces this season. He
set records, broke records.
Yeah. I basically spend the majority of my free time just watching Luka highlights from the previous year. It's kind of sad, actually.
Do you still cry, or is
I don't? I've never cried, to be honest. But
that's only while watching Pride and Prejudice.
Okay, you're crushing me here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So yeah, I watched the highlights just because, first of all, they're so fun, and I don't think people understand how good his handles are. He does not get enough credit for his ball handling, because sometimes he has people in a blender. He has them going one direction while he's already shooting, and they don't even know where he went. And there's so many highlights of him getting players in a blender, and he just doesn't get the credit or the respect for his ball handling. It's always a step back, and that's one part of his game. But that's all, especially national media.
Yeah. They
just talk about his step back, but he has so much more to his game than a step back. He's actually much better driving and finishing in the rim, at the rim. Getting to his spots, getting any shot that he wants.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. I mean, it was he gives me hope. I don't care where Giannis goes then. If he doesn't come to Dallas, fine. I don't care, because we have Luka, and I feel like even if there's a super team out there, you just put some players that can think around Luka
and shoot,
and you'll have a chance to win.
Yeah. I mean, and the crazy thing about Luka is that he got better as the year went on. And I mean, obviously the break helped too, because it was kind of like a preview of his 3rd season, but he got better as the year goes on. And a lot of times for guys, it's season to season they get better, but he got better as the year went on. You could see in some games he got better as the game went on. Yeah. And so that was just amazing to see. And that's why, when people talk about he's already reached his ceiling or whatever, and it's no, man, because if you watch he gets better all the time, and there are still things he can get better at.
Yeah, and there's still idiot doubters out there that are like, but he can't do this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say that he was like a running back, 90s all-time great running back, where as the game went on, he got better. And while the rest of the team or the opponent was wearing down, he was just finding his groove.
Yeah.
And I don't think we saw that in the early part of the season, but I think we saw that when the bubble started and in the playoffs, he just kept coming at you, and it was starting to wear down the opposing defenses.
Yeah, his conditioning was definitely...
It was much better, yeah.
It was much better. Well, no, you didn't see that tweet because you quit Twitter. Somebody tweeted that he would take Jason Tatum over Luka Doncic. What do you think about that?
Of course not.
I mean,
that's not a knock on Tatum.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I was not high on Tatum before the season. I thought he was overrated.
Neither one of us were. But
and to be fair, I was wrong.
Yeah.
He is a stud. He's good. He's really, really good. He's a future superstar. But he's not on Luka's level.
No.
He's just not. And if you blind yourself, I don't know what it is. You know what I think part of being an all-time great is you have a lot of haters. Because LeBron's got a lot of haters. Giannis has a lot of haters. All these players have haters. Luka has a lot of haters.
Yeah.
Tatum doesn't really have a lot of haters.
True.
There are a lot of people that are like, they're really high on him.
Yeah.
But there is absolutely no way I am taking Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anybody over Luka Doncic in the league.
Yeah, I think like Tatum is better defensively, and the Celtics are a better team. So I think that some people include that in their argument. But if we're just taking them individually, Luka is better.
Okay.
Luka is in the MVP conversation, and no one even brought Tatum into that this year.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, this whole thing, well, he's good on defense too. Yes. First of all, Luka is an underrated defender.
Yeah.
Tatum's an overrated defender. But because he's already considered a great defender, he's a better defender than Luka. Whatever. I don't care. You're discounting how good he is on the offensive end of the court.
Yeah.
So, like, Luka is legendary status on the offensive side of the court, and he's an average NBA defender. Tatum is a good
He's very good
defender.
Oh, yeah,
and
defender.
a good offensive player.
Yeah.
But they don't equal out because this whole thing, defense wins championships, is a load of crap.
Yeah, you say that until Curry hits a 40-footer. Or
what
Jordan
wins championship?
hits a high-flying shot.
Thank you.
Like,
what wins championships is when you can put the ball in the basket despite the defense. Because when you get that deep into the playoffs, everybody's a good defensive team. Who can score despite the good defense? And that's why Jordan won so many. That's why Dirk won in 2011.
That's why the Warriors. The Warriors had, like, championship teams have great defense.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't.
That is a huge part of it. But if you can score regardless of the defense, then it doesn't matter what the defense does.
And when you're that deep, when you're in the finals, that means the other team's a good defensive team too.
Yeah.
So, the whole thing, defense wins championships, is just not true.
I think it's overblown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to some more predictions. These are some that you made.
Oh, wow. I was part of this
podcast.
podcast.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, you predicted that Luka would average 27 to 28 points a game, and he averaged 28.8.
Wow.
So
I thought he averaged 29 even, but okay, I'll take it.
No.
Did this include the bubble?
Yes, it should. I just got it from B-Ball Ref.
28.8, still really good.
Yeah. Whenever you said that, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. But you made the point that in the preseason, he was like dominating.
Dude, he was already at 30 points before the fourth quarter
and he
started.
Like never played the fourth quarter in preseason, so that's why you said if he plays a full game. You said that KP will average between 20 and 24 points. He averaged 20.4. And you said that he just wouldn't play enough minutes to score 25 plus. And I think, like, that was part of it. Let me see.
He only averaged like 32 minutes a game, I think.
Porzingis this season averaged 31.8.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he just, like you said, he just didn't play enough minutes. But, I mean, he shot well, 35 on threes, 43% overall.
I think what's going to elevate him to 25 points a game is his efficiency once that goes up.
Yeah. We had an over-under for how many games until we want Carlisle fired.
You know what? Early on in the season, we were because he's so irritating.
I can't remember. Did we?
Yes.
Okay.
We were so irritated with him.
What was it?
He's just irritating. Like his rotations, the decisions he makes, and in the first 15 games of any season of his entire career, they're like a losing record. The team has a losing, and it's because he's
trying
just
weird stuff,
experimenting, and he has these ideas.
What if we posted up Berea?
And it was just like, it was getting so irritating at some points, and then he stops with his stupidity and starts.
Does what makes sense.
Yes,
I don't even remember that, but
it was like 2 seasons.
It was a year
ago.
ago, literally. Not literally.
I mean, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, the over under was 39 games. You took the under. It sounds like you might have been right on that. But I think
we eventually cooled off because it's all emotion. Like,
well, I mean, that's why we do this.
Yeah, in the emotion of it, we're like, fire him. But deep down, we know he's one of the best coaches in the league, and we don't want anybody else. But it's just
in
frustrating.
The moment,
yes.
Okay, and then we made predictions for the first 5 games. They played the Wizards, Pelicans, Blazers, Nuggets, and Lakers. We both predicted wins against the Wizards, Pelicans, and Blazers. They ended up beating the Wizards and Pelicans, but they lost to the Blazers. We both predicted a loss to the Nuggets. They beat the Nuggets. And I predicted a loss to the Lakers. You said it's a draw. They ended up losing. That's like a smaller prediction because it's just the first 5 games.
Yeah, and that was the controversial
that was
call.
The when Dwight Howard held
the Nuggets win. I think was one of the more surprising ones of the seasons because Luka and Porzingis were trash in that game. Yeah. And the rest of the supporting cast, and then Luka hit really the closing bucket layup at the end of the game.
Yeah. And then one more prediction. You said that the Mavericks would be really good at home. They finished the season 38-20 at home.
38-20? That's overall record. That's got to be. No, that's not even over. I don't know where you got that number from.
Wait, no, I got that from B-Ball Ref. Hold on.
Okay, that means they played 58 games at home.
Yes.
And there's only 41 that they played home.
Hold on.
But they were actually better on the road this year, weren't they? I was like complete backwards.
Let me get the number again.
All right.
Oh, you know what? They played 38 games at home. And this is okay.
Okay.
They were 20-18.
So they were terrible.
So they were
home.
Not very good at home.
They were much better on the road.
They were
this year.
23-14.
And that's really what I meant when I said they were going to be really good at home. I meant they were going to be really good on the road,
like
and they would struggle at home. Yes, that's what I meant.
The road.
So I think I was right.
Yeah, this is why you don't contribute very much. Okay, so yeah, those are the predictions we made, and I think that I was pretty much spot on, and you were, you had some good ones. I think you did okay.
I mean, I did think that Luka and Porzingis would have to average around 50 points a game for them to be good.
That is true.
So, and, I did say Luka would average 27, 28 points a game.
That's true.
I was right on that one.
Yeah, that's
I also said
JJ
JJ was going to be an all-star.
No. Well, you didn't say that, but it didn't happen anyway. So, I think our predictions were pretty good, and I think we got some credibility for that. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is sort of a game of would you rather. And so some of this has to do with like free agency trades. Obviously, everybody's talking about that, and we can talk about it as these topics come up. But I just want to get your reaction to these would you rather questions, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't know if you needed a response to that.
Okay, so speaking of trades, a lot of people are talking about trading for Giannis or acquiring him somehow. Let's say hypothetically, would you rather trade for Anthony Davis, but Rajon Rondo comes with him, or trade for Giannis, but Wesley Matthews comes with him?
I would say Giannis.
Okay.
And Matthews just wouldn't play.
Well, but
Carlisle's going to start him and put him in the game in clutch time. And he'd be shooting.
Up.
Yes. We got to do a Wes Matthews post up.
Yeah.
I think that's why we wanted Carlisle fired in the early part of the season.
Not this season, though.
Yeah. Yes, that was all this season.
No, it wasn't.
That was last year.
Yeah. That was last
what
year.
am I talking about?
This is why you don't. Okay.
I would take Giannis over Anthony Davis.
And still, it's worth it to have
take
Wesley
Matthews over Rondo.
Now, speaking of Giannis, just a note here on free agency. If you haven't been keeping up, Giannis unfollowed like everybody on Twitter and Instagram. On Instagram, he's only following 9 people, and on Twitter, he's only following 6 people. And now there's a lot of things that you could read into this, but I think that I've cracked it because Dallas, the word, has 6 letters in it, and he's following 6 people on Twitter. And Mavericks, the word, has 9 letters in it, and he's following 9 people on Instagram. So to me, like, it's not like...
It's irrefutable.
Yeah, it's irrefutable. We don't even really have to talk about it. I'm just wondering what number he's going to wear. I think 34 is available.
So they don't have any pieces to trade for Giannis.
No, like free agency kind of thing.
Next season.
Summer.
I just cannot see the Bucks allowing him to enter free agency and losing him for nothing. So if he doesn't sign the extension and they don't get a big piece to join their team, he's going to be traded at the trade deadline.
I like how you're holding your microphone like
it's like more comfortable.
Like a boxer, like that ringmaster guy. The microphone comes down and he holds it up close to his mouth.
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now.
Like a what's that?
Let's not bore our audience
PBS.
by talking about
what's that radio station?
Yeah,
NPR.
Failing
NPR.
Miserably.
Okay. Yeah, Giannis, I don't know. I don't know. Like not the qualifying offer, but if he was going to sign the Supermax extension, that would be this off season, right? So we'll know pretty soon.
Like I said, if he doesn't re-sign, I don't think he's going to sign I don't know. That's a lot of money. So I don't know if he re-signs it or not, or signs the extension or not. But if he does not, and they go into next year with the same team and didn't add anything, he's going to be traded at the trade deadline.
Now, you had some few ideas. Say he wants to stay with the Bucks, but they got to make some moves. What were some moves they could make?
Well, Chris Paul, obviously. If you can get Chris Paul and keep Chris Middleton, then I think he would stay.
Yeah.
The other one, which I think should happen because of the age, is C.J. McCollum.
Yeah.
And I think the Blazers, it's time for the Blazers to move on.
For Middleton.
Yes. Yeah. It's time for the Blazers to move on from McCollum. And the Bucks need a playmaker at the end of the game.
Or just in general.
Yeah, and McCollum has done that in the playoffs. He's had pretty good success. Now, they haven't won anything, but he has shown times in a series, like in Denver, where he can basically get to where he wants to go and hit shots when he needs to make them. And I think that's what Giannis is missing, is that guy. And Middleton, as good as he is, he's more of a catch-and-shoot system kind of guy. He's not someone you can give the ball to and let him make a play. And he tried in the last 2 games of the playoffs. And, he scored over 20 points, but he
can do that.
He shot very poorly, though. Yeah. He's not very efficient with it.
Yeah, I think the fit is just better. I think Middleton fits better with Lillard and the Blazers, and McCollum fits really well. I mean, Middleton fits too, but I think McCollum fits really well with Giannis and the Bucks.
Well, one thing that hurts the Blazers is that Lillard and McCollum are negatives on defense.
Yeah, and they're kind of the same players.
They're the same thing, and they're negative. So you bring in Middleton, who can get you 18 to 20 points a game, like McCollum, but he's a positive on the defensive end, and he can play off of Lillard a little bit better.
Yeah,
he's already played with a ball-dominant player like Giannis, and he's still very successful.
Yeah. He fits in seamlessly.
And I think McCollum would fit much better. A pick and roll with McCollum and Giannis would be really deadly, especially in a late game situation in the playoffs.
Okay, next, would you rather? Whenever Paul George was drafted, there were rumors that the Pacers wanted to trade for Roddy B and Rodrigo Bobois, that is. And the pick they would trade for him turned into Paul George. We also know that the Mavericks they had the option to trade for Shaquille O'Neal, but that trade would have involved Dirk. Yeah. So here's the thing. Would you rather trade Roddy B for Paul George? You have that guy to pair with Dirk. Maybe they win a few more rings, maybe not, but you give him a good chance. Or trade for Shaq. Dirk leaves, but he probably wins a few rings with the Lakers and ups his legacy a little bit. Which would you rather do?
I'm never trading Dirk.
Okay, not even if he has the chance to get more rings.
The fact that you even thought, no.
Okay.
I'm never trading Dirk.
It's about him staying with Dallas. Okay.
Let's move on.
I get that.
Next scenario.
Here's another one, which I guess I know the answer to this one already.
If it involves trading Dirk, the answer is no.
Okay. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't.
Okay.
Okay, so Mark Cuban recently said that the Mavericks had a chance to trade for Kobe. They were actually about to. They were going to trade for Kobe Bryant, and so it would be Kobe and Dirk together, no trading Dirk. And I think in that scenario, Dirk's legacy kind of takes a little bit of a hit because Kobe, while they would win a lot, Kobe would probably get most of the credit for that. Dirk would become kind of like maybe the Pau Gasol type player. But does that matter to you? Would you rather him do that and he gets multiple rings, or would you rather just let Dirk do it all?
No, you trade for Kobe, but Dirk's not the Pau Gasol type.
Okay, so you don't think it would affect his legacy?
Dirk would have been an all-time great. He still would have been averaging 25 points a game. And him and Kobe would have just been basically unstoppable. But Dirk would still be Dirk. He was that good. Now, he doesn't get recognition on being on that level.
Yeah.
But he's scored 30,000 points. He's an MVP.
True.
He's a finals MVP. So he wouldn't have turned into a Pau Gasol. So I would have traded for Kobe and let Dirk win 2-3 championships.
The trade, if I remember correctly, it was like Josh Howard and Jason Terry and some picks.
Well, in the Lakers, I think they changed their mind last minute and had a conversation with Kobe and basically said,
Jerry West.
Yeah, they don't want. Yeah,
don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Jerk.
Good answer. Here's another. Would you rather? Okay. Say you can go back in time and change history for the 2006 finals, but the Mavericks still only win one ring with Dirk. Would you rather change it to where they win in 2006 or leave it to where they win in 2011?
I think the 2011 was a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, me too.
So I would take 2011.
Yeah, I would take 2011 too.
Because what made it sweet was the fact that they lost in 06.
Yeah. And I think, would you say, well, I'm pretty sure you would say that 2011 Heat team was better than the 06 team.
Than the 06 Mavs?
The
06 Heat?
Yeah.
The 06 Heat weren't even very good.
Yeah. Okay.
But neither were the 06 Mavs. If you look at that roster.
They had a 20-year-old Devin Harris.
Yeah, the roster wasn't very good. It was just, with all due respect, it was well coached, and Dirk was on another level.
Yeah. I think I would take 2011 too because, like you said, it was sweeter. That Heat team,
the big three, the Lakers,
LeBron
the Thunder,
James,
the Blazers. When everybody picked Portland,
like that whole run, for it to be Dirk's only championship, I couldn't have asked for a better run.
Yeah.
I mean, not like beating the Heat, obviously, yes, because of 06, because the big three, because LeBron in the decision, that was amazing. But also sweeping the Lakers and beating the Thunder. I mean, like, I couldn't have asked for a better run. Yeah, and Dirk was
a legend. Like, I'd never seen somebody else do what he had done in those playoffs.
Okay, next, would you rather? Okay.
How many of these are there?
There's two more.
Okay.
Shut your face.
All right.
Oh my gosh, can't believe you're complaining. Okay, would you rather
Yes.
keep Steve Nash, but he doesn't become MVP Nash, or keep Tyson Chandler, but he doesn't become Defensive Player of the Year Tyson Chandler?
I would have kept Nash.
Okay. Because he's a better player, even without being MVP.
He was an
Nash?
all-star.
Okay.
And he was tough, and he was a big shot maker. It was Steve freaking Nash. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, yeah, I would have kept Steve Nash. As much as I love Tyson.
Yeah. Do you think that Nash would have become an MVP still?
No.
Okay.
No, because what made him the MVP was the Suns were a 500 team.
True.
And then he comes there, and there's 60-win team.
And their system, too.
And their system with D'Antoni,
Yeah.
where Nash could basically average 11, 12 assists a game.
Yeah.
But he was still an all-star, and he was still recognized as one of the best point guards in the league.
Okay. Good answer. Last, since you're complaining. Okay, this one's a little complicated. Actually, I need to read this to myself again. Okay. All right. Okay, I got it. So the Mavericks in the Giannis draft, the Mavericks drafted Kelly Olynyk. Now they eventually traded him and stuff, but they drafted Kelly Olynyk. Now, would you rather have picked Giannis in that draft, but chances are
you don't get Luka,
or would you rather? Oh my God, what did I write here? But you never get Luka,
but you'd rather have Luka,
or pick Okay, here's another draft mistake.
Whatever the scenario is, I'd rather have Luka because I know ultimately that's what we're getting to.
Hold on. I think there was another draft where the Mavericks drafted Nick Fazekas over Marc Gasol. Okay. So would you rather fix that draft and pick Marc Gasol over Nick Fazekas? In that case, you probably get Luka, or would you rather
Luka
draft
Luka? The answer is Luka. Okay, how do you even remember the Fazekas? Nick Fazekas.
Fazekas?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was Fazekas.
I'm pretty sure it was Fazekas.
No,
Well, the American way was Fazekas.
That sounds better. Fazekas. Okay, so you pick Marc Gasol over Nick Fazekas, but you get Luka because of that, or you pick Giannis over Olynyk, but you get Giannis, but you never get Luka.
Oh my God, I'm taking Luka. Okay, the Giannis draft was like 9 years ago. We got to move on.
Well, I'm just saying because
Marc Gasol, that was at least 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So by now, when we drafted Luka, he probably would have been playing for the Raptors still.
That's the point, is that if you had taken Marc Gasol, you would get Luka. But you would also have Marc Gasol while you have him, who's amazing, and maybe you win another ring, and you still get Luka in the end.
So why wouldn't I take that scenario?
You know what? That's because right now you would have Giannis now, and you would have Giannis with Dirk for a little bit, and maybe they win a ring together. Maybe, because Dirk was old, so probably not. Which one are you taking?
The Luka scenario.
The Luka scenario? You know, I'm going to have to agree with you.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, so that's the game of Would You Rather. I actually have a few games lined up that I think we
Are
can
they as
do.
exciting as that one?
Well, it depends. Sometimes things just happen that I'm not planning on. So I have another game plus another game, and then I have this other game that I think would be kind of cool. So, but we'll do those in other episodes. Okay.
Great.
That's it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. Those were our predictions. I don't know. Let us know if you made some predictions that turned out to be totally accurate or that turned out to be totally garbage.
And you got to show proof.
Yes.
You can't just say, I predicted
that
Luka would
hit a
average
step
29.
back
Yeah, step back
over.
to win a game in the playoffs.
Although someone retweeted someone else's tweet, and in that original tweet, this person tweeted that he had a dream that Luka hit a step back game winner over the Clippers, and this was before Luka did it. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyways,
the chances of that are not that unlikely.
But he tweeted it before it happened.
Yes, but with the thousands or millions of basketball fans
Someone
all going to
was
sleep
bound.
at night having a dream, one of them's bound to have a dream that Luka hits a step back
I guess that's true.
over the Clippers.
Well, yeah, I think it was just over the Clippers. Maybe he did say it was over Reggie Jackson.
What's his face?
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to end it there because now we're just rambling.
Yep.
But remember,
the Titans.
This is all available on a top 10 Dallas Mavericks blog.
That's right.
Among the
top number 4 of 11.
Of the 11 Dallas Mavericks blogs, this is a top 10 one, DallasHoopsCast.com. So I would highly encourage you to visit the site and everything else that's cool. Thank you guys so much for listening. Any closing words, Marty?
No.
Okay. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.